Hey everybody, welcome back to part 3 of homemade yeast rolls. Now, it's been 1.5 hours. Let me see if I can adjust this a little bit better so you can see everything that's going on. And as you can see, my bread dough has risen. It's doubled in size. It's actually tripled in size. And so I'm just going to put it over here. And as you can see, I have leftover olive oil that I'm actually just going to pour on my counter. Just scrape it off. It's going to look like a little puddle after it's risen, and that's totally okay because you're going to need that anyway. I have already greased with my cake release recipe or concoction, whatever you want to call it. This is the best for greasing pans. If you ever run across a recipe that says grease and flour your pan, if you look on my channel, I have a DIY cake release. You don't have to grease and flour no more. This is tasteless. There's no taste to it, no odor. I give you specific measurements and how to make it, and it is the best for greasing your pans to make biscuits, all kinds of breads, any type of pastry and cake, and it releases. It's just amazing. So that's what I do. Now we're going to roll these into individual rolls, and I'm going to grab my bench scraper here, and we're just going to cut these in individual rolls. And so you start out by doing exactly what I'm doing right here. You gently take the ball out of the bowl, and then you lengthwise you cut it into 4 separate individual strips, and then you're going to go 1, 2, and you're going to do that with all of them. This makes a little bit of rolls. Actually, sometimes I think I need to make these twice, and because they're so popular and they're so delicious. Now we're just going to use this olive oil just to roll our dough into balls so that we can have actual rolls. Now you're going to put them in your baking dish. The key to making your rolls is they must be pushed up against one another so that they will rise up instead of spreading out. And I'm going to show you how I make my balls really taut. You pull them taut on the bottom. You go on the bottom and you just pull, 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 and then you just take your hand and you do that. And that's how you get a really nice yeast roll. Now see, as you can see, this was the top. It's really smooth, and here's the bottom, and you just take all the corners and you just pull it. And you utilize the leftover olive oil for your advantage. Pull it taut, and then, because it helps you do what I'm doing right here. Because I've tried doing it without olive oil or some type of lubricant, and it doesn't work that good. So now we have another strip, and we're going to go 1, 2. Now you can make these rolls as big or as small as you like. I usually try to get them about a medium size. Sometimes I get a small one like that one, and that's okay. And then, now after we put these in the baking dish, they are going to rise for another 1.5 hours. But do you see how I'm doing that? Pulling all of it as taut as I possibly can to give it a nice tight ball. That way it will rise perfectly. Now that's a little big, so I may I'd like to put one right there, but that would be a very big one. Let's see if we can put that in half, because these will get really, 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 really big. So, but you don't want to make them too small. That's kind of small, isn't it? Like these two are going to be ginormous. Those are probably going to be about medium size because they do rise up very, very, very well. And I'm going to leave them right here, covered with clean paper towel, undisturbed. I get so tickled at my husband. When he gets in the mood for sliders, now these are going to be really good size. See, you can already tell. He'll say, babe, please make those yeast rolls because I'm in the mood for sliders. And I'll make him some sliders, and then I'll fry him up some French fries. And boy, it's like going out to a really nice restaurant, where they serve, those restaurants that are like, what is it, like a bar, like a sports bar kind of food. He loves sports bar food. And I love to make it at home for him. He especially loves stuff like that when he's watching the Super Bowl. My husband used to love to watch the Super Bowl. He'd watch it for the commercials. Or if he's watching something and he's just in the mood for something like that, he'll say, babe. Now, these are I can't wait to bring you back for part 4. Wait a minute. Is this part 3 or 4? I can't even remember. Okay, yeah, this is part 3. Part 3. This is part 3 of the homemade yeast rolls. I can't wait to bring you back for part 4 after they have risen for another hour and a half. So it's a 3-hour rise time. That's why I encouraged you to please, 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 if you're going to make these, you really need to start them, first thing that morning. Now, you can also go ahead and start with the first part of it with just a whole bread ball. You can go ahead and do that the night before and just let it simply rise overnight while you're asleep, and then all you'll have to do is this. You can certainly do that. It will not hurt the integrity. It will not hurt the taste. It'll be wonderful. So if you don't have time to start early, you can always start these the night before. I try to get as many made as possible because my family loves these. Like my son, my husband, my daughter, they will eat 2 and 3 at a time. And then they're always upset when we run out. My granddaughters love these rolls. I'm going to stick that one right there in that corner because, like I said, when they rise, they need each other to help. They're going to stick together, but they're easy to take apart. But they need each other to help rise to perfection. These are so delicious. They are the best. Ever since I started making my own rolls, y'all, I have never bought store-bought again. You can certainly taste a difference. These are so much better, I promise you. And just stick that right there. And as you can see, just since I've started doing this, they're already rising. Can you see the significant difference? I certainly can see it. I'm just pulling all of my ends taut and then turning it back over on the front side and rolling it to a nice smooth ball. Now, even the little small ones, like I said, they are going to triple in size, and they're going to be a wonderful size yeast roll. My youngest granddaughter, Coraline, absolutely loves my homemade yeast rolls, and she just can't get enough of them. My youngest granddaughter is very, very finicky. She don't like to eat nothing. All she wants is chocolate milk and chicken nuggets, but she would literally eat this whole pan if I'd let her. She would. That's how good these are. Even finicky kids love these. Now, see how beautiful they turned out? They may not be... You can probably get yours to be the perfect same size. I've never been able to do that because of the way that you have to cut it up. But regardless, after they've all risen, they typically take on the appearance of all being the same size anyway. So that's why I don't worry about that too much and I don't fuss with it because I got enough to do. But after these rise for about an hour and a half, well, it's going to be definitely an hour and a half. You'll see when I bring you back for part 4. And I can't wait to bake these up and let you see them. And that's another thing that I did want to give you a tip on. After you bake them, you must let them cool in the pan. Don't try to take them out when they're hot. Don't try to replate them, set them on a wire rack, set this on a wire rack, let it cool down, and then take them off, and then put them in your basket to make it really pretty and presentable, or your platter, or whatever. And yes, you can make these into sliders. You can make them the day before, and the next day, if you put them in a plastic bag and seal them really good, and then the next day all you have to do is cut them in half and make the best sliders, sandwiches, whatever you want to do. Now, I've got to wash this olive oil off my hands. I'm going to cover this. That just has olive oil on it, this paper towel, and that's not going to hurt a thing. I'm going to let them sit right here undisturbed for an hour and a half, and I'll bring you back for part 4. You're going to get to watch me bake them. I love you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your patience. This is part 3, and I'm going to see you in part 4. Blessings, love, and light. Peace and love.